Hello, my friends. How are you? I hope you guys are doing well today. I welcome everyone today. My wonderful subscribers, my wonderful commenters, as well as all of the new subscribers. I welcome you all and thank you. This will be part 2 of my video about the anti-inaugural ball video that's been placed online, showing Chris Cornell singing at the anti-inaugural ball, and the backstage video where he is in his dressing room backstage after the concert. And I spoke about my feelings and my opinion on the video, in the first video that I made yesterday. And, it's a video that can be interpreted more than one way. Clearly, we all have different opinions, different points of view, different ways of seeing something, and it's extremely subjective. But all I can do here is give you my opinion and what I think is going on. And others may have different opinions, which, I respect everybody's opinion here. I want to start off by just saying that I had to look at that video again, which I didn't want to do because I don't like, looking at videos with Chris Cornell in them, especially just shortly before he died. They're very sad to watch, and this was very sad to see Chris Cornell in that video. But I want to just give you some more of my insight and my opinions as to what I think the dynamic there was. Now, starting with Tom Morello. I have never been a fan of Tom Morello. I don't consider him to be that good of a musician. He seems to be someone that is very opportunistic. To me, I don't like his personality. I don't like his politics. And he's just a mediocre guitar player that happened to be lucky enough to have Chris Cornell in the band Audioslave. Because without Audioslave, this guy would be nowhere. And that's my opinion. Chris Cornell was Audioslave. Period. He wrote the songs, he fronted the band, and sang for the band. And he was, Audioslave. It was his band. Regardless of whether there were other members, there were 4 of them. But any group without Chris Cornell fronting it is nothing. They can't go on, just like Soundgarden now. There's no way. And they would be nowhere as well, Soundgarden, if it weren't for Cornell. Yeah, Kim Thale, he's a good guitar player too, but nothing special. All of these bands and musicians were enhanced through their association and playing with Cornell. Let's be honest here. Where would Soundgarden be without Cornell? Where would Audioslave be without Cornell? Where would Temple be without Cornell? It's just a reality. It's a fact. He was the front man. He was the singer. He was the writer of most of the music, as far as I know. So, in the anti-inaugural ball, first of all, I don't understand what Chris Cornell was even doing there at that anti-inaugural ball. Who convinced him to play at that stupid gig? That it just was ridiculous. Ridiculous to, have an anti-inaugural ball when your president just got inaugurated and there's inaugural balls in Washington because half of the American public voted in that person as president. Yeah, you have a right to protest, obviously. But I don't understand what the hell Chris Cornell was doing there at that concert to begin with. And getting up and playing with the old Audioslave members. 2 of them, I think. So he gets up there and plays. He sounds just awful. His voice is completely off. There's just no feeling, nothing. And it's just a weird exchange in those songs that he did. And then we see him backstage. Well, let me just say also that I think that they may have sabotaged Chris Cornell's voice that night on purpose as payback. And that I mean Morello. And I know from my own research that there was bad blood between Morello and Chris Cornell. There was bad blood there. Because Chris Cornell up and left Audioslave. Just decided that was it. He didn't want to play in that band anymore and quit the band, leaving the other members. For his whatever reasons he chose, those were his reasons, and I'm not here to criticize or analyze why he left or why he didn't leave or why that went down. Clearly there was problems there, and he didn't want to be a part of that band anymore. And that's that. Or coupled with that, he had Vicky. Now, it's common knowledge that when Cornell met Vicky, he was an Audioslave. He was playing with Audioslave. And isn't it interesting that within 2 years, he had completely left Audioslave. He had left most of the people he was friends with back in Seattle. He basically just took a different direction musically. Went on to do more solo work. I think it all boils down to money. I think it boils down to money, and when he was with Audioslave, there would be a 4-way split on the cash there, with concerts and all of that. And maybe Vicky just didn't want that. She wanted all the money for her. She wanted Chris to be, making all the money, therefore pushing him to do solo concerts. And that never-ending acoustic tour he did that was just never-ending, went all over the place, all over the world, and him by himself with all the guitars on stage. Again, another probably something, that his wife wanted, because again, the money, more money for them. So at this anti-inaugural ball, which I don't understand why even Cornell was there, I think perhaps he was sabotaged with his voice. I also think that Chris Cornell was trying to perhaps bury the hatchet and make amends with Morello and the Brad Wilkes and all that, all the people that were in Audioslave, and revisit the band, make perhaps new music, do more, more songs with Audioslave, tour. Although Cornell was older, and it's, touring by himself with an acoustic guitar is one thing, but touring with a band like Audioslave that is extremely high energy band would have been more difficult for Cornell and more trying for him physically, because it would be a different kind of a concert, and like I said, the high energy part of it perhaps would have been more daunting for him. So I think that what he was trying to do was perhaps make amends and try and do more music with Audioslave. And then also I've had people say that Vicky didn't say what she said to Chris. She said it to the video the person taking the video. I disagree. She said to Cornell, "You're making him uncomfortable." Meaning that because Chris Cornell was asking about, perhaps taking some time and finding the time to be able to get together and do some more music. And of course she wouldn't be for that, because that would mean splitting again any proceeds 4 ways. And certainly that would not be to her liking. But nevertheless, that didn't happen. Chris died a few months later. And, someone that looked full of life, just a normal person. He looked fine at that backstage video. He had plans. He wanted to do more music. But he was found dead and hung on a door just a few months later by an apparent suicide. So I just wanted to say that, Tom Morello, I think, would have kept a grudge against Chris Cornell for disbanding Audioslave. And, I've never, like I said in the beginning of this video, no band would have survived without Cornell in it, any of his bands. He made Audioslave, he made Soundgarden, he made Temple. Okay, that is my opinion of how I see it. He was the big talent. He was the stage presence, the grunge god, the rock god. Gorgeous man. Beautiful, looking man. Wonderful voice. So in my opinion, he was Audioslave. And it pissed off the other guys when he quit. So I'll leave it at that today. You guys can leave me your comments if you like. I welcome all of them. And I also want to say that we are getting a little bit closer to truth. I think now with all the QAnon that's been posted again online and on posts, different various boards, there's more information coming out about the deep state, about the secret societies that exist, and about the pedophilia, the sacrifices, all of the satanic worship, and the circle is closing in my opinion. And I'm hoping that all of these disgusting people that are involved in these atrocious activities will be brought to justice. Thank you, my friends. Take care, and until the next time.